Hey Flosstube. Oh, I feel like I'm really close to you guys. I'll back off a little bit so I don't scare you. Jan Hicks here of Jan Hicks Creates. I am happy to be back with you. It is Wednesday. See, I looked and I totally forgot. It is Wednesday, February 28th. End of February already. It goes too fast. It goes way too fast, people. Like I said, happy to be with you again. I hope you enjoyed my little slideshow at the beginning, showing you some shots of Sarasota. We had a glorious time. My happy place, totally. It was so good to be back there, to be, not just be in the sunshine and warmth, but to be with my friends. So good to sit and talk and knit and share. I hope some of that came through in the photos. It's a glorious place. Sunset walks on the beach, morning walks on the beach, walks down to Siesta Village to our favorite breakfast spot, which is Another Broken Egg. For any of you that visit Sarasota, highly recommend Another Broken Egg down in Siesta Village. We love it not only because they have amazing omelets that have unusual ingredients. Our favorite is called the Baquiza. It has chorizo sausage and cream cheese in it. But the big thing is they make gluten-free pancakes. I am gluten intolerant, and it's very rare to find a restaurant that does gluten-free pancakes. So, and they put chocolate chips in it. My husband and I should split the omelet, split the pancake, and just love it. And then we walk on the beach and walk it off. So, what's not to love? So anyways, I hope you enjoyed the photos. There was one of my boys at Bubba Gump's restaurant in Universal Studios. We spent one day up in Orlando with our boys. We went to Universal Studios. My younger son is in a school called the Dave School that's on the back lot of Universal. So he actually has a student pass. He gets in for free to the parks. So yeah, we just had to pay for 3 of us, which is still a chunk of change, but totally worth it to spend the day with those guys. So had a great time. I was totally exhausted, but it was a gorgeous day in Orlando. Okay, what else is going on? Let's see. I want to give some shout outs to some wonderful new and not so new Flosstubers. First, the new ones. The first one is a sweet young girl in France, in Paris. Her Flosstube channel, and I believe her name, and I'm going to butcher it, so please forgive me. Ilavarisi Days is the name of her channel. She opens her first video with walks in, there's a snowfall around Fontainebleau. She outdid us in the first 5 minutes. I mean, really, it was amazing. So if it's just for that, it was peaceful, it was gorgeous, it was Fontainebleau. So I recommend that you check her out. She's she also does drawing. She did a little bit of drawing. She gave us a little bit of a glimpse into her life in France. And just, like I said, just a very sweet, peaceful video. So if you haven't come across her yet, I suggest you check her out. And all the ones I mentioned I will link down below so you can find them easily. The second new Flosstuber is Melinda S. She is also a stitcher and a knitter like me. She showed a gorgeous rose mauling, M-A-U-L-I-N-G, Dutch, Norwegian, something like that, piece. Beautiful colors, beautiful floral pattern that she had done for her mother. She is currently working on the Lizzie Kate Season series. She's stitching it as one piece, I believe, and it's just so pretty. Of course, I had seen the separate pieces. I don't think I'd ever seen them done as one piece, and I thought it was really pretty, and it's very tempting, especially with Lizzie Kate retiring. Speaking of tempting, I guess one of the reasons she stands out for me is that I enabled her to start the Jardin Privé History of Sheep series. So she is working on that, and she's been showing that on Instagram. So I love seeing her progress on that as well. Textilist. Now I know a lot of you know her and a lot of you have seen her already, and I am just as blown away as you are. Another amazing multi-craftual person who just does everything. Amazing quilts the fabric she has dyed. Yeah, you don't want that? You can send that here. I don't know what I'd do with it. I'm not a quilter. I'm not a sewer. I don't even own a sewing machine. Hang it on the wall just as a wall hanging would be fine with me. So yeah, I was really impressed. I also had to laugh because she was also enabled by Kindred Stitcher to get hibernation days, and she's actually started hers. I probably won't start mine until the fall or winter. But anyways, I really enjoyed her. Another one who's taken Flosstube by storm that, again, I know you all have seen is Donna Ray Barrow, Flannel Jammy's Farm. What a beautiful soul. Just lovely, lovely person, lovely spirit, lovely pieces. I'm just so looking forward to seeing more of her. What really caught me with her is that she raises bees, and that is so important in today's world, and I hats off to anybody who does that. You know, we've got to make sure that the bees don't get killed off. And speaking of beautiful spirits, another one I wanted to call out is Kitten Stitcher, Theresa Vennett. We all know her. We all love her. I'm a week behind in my videos. I didn't watch, or in watching, I didn't watch any when I was in Sarasota because I was actually socializing. Who knew? So I am a week behind, and every day I watch and I watch and I watch, and I get caught up to like 5 days ago, and then I sleep. And I think I'm caught up, and then I'm back to 6 days ago. So, you know, maybe it's because I like so many of you. It's a possibility. But anyways, Theresa Vennett's video from a week ago mentioned that, you know, she's getting ready for market, and I can't wait to see her new designs. But she mentioned that she's going to be doing some video tutorials to go with her new designs, and the videos will be just free out on YouTube like all of this is. And it strikes me over and over again how generous this community is with all the giveaways and the sprinkles and sending gifts and just amazing gifts to each other. And it just blows me away every single time. And it especially blows me away this week because of the nastiness we've seen on Stitch Mania this week. I know other people have mentioned it. Well, I guess it's been the past couple weeks with different posts, and how frustrated Garrett and Katie are getting, and I don't blame them at all. My 2 cents is don't feed the trolls. For whatever reason, these people that are posting, and granted, we all have a right to our opinion, these people that are posting want attention, they want to put that negativity out there. Don't feed it. Even if it's just to say everybody's different, just move along, block things if you don't like it. It's the same thing. Don't feed it. Just the other day, well, I guess yesterday, day before, a couple of days, there was a young man, a new member, who posted some designs that, granted, are not going to be for everybody. They're going to be for a very small segment of the population. You know something? If we don't have new people coming in, offering their designs, showing their talent, if we don't have new ideas, fresh ideas coming into this craft, it's going to die. If that feed were only, pick a subject, flowers, puppies and kittens, nothing against flowers, puppies and kittens, but if it were the same thing, if we were all doing the same thing over and over and over, just think how boring that would get. The craft would die. We need to have new blood. We need to have new ideas. So yeah, if it's not for you, just pass it by and just be thankful that there are new people coming in willing to share their creativity. Just love it for what it is. All right, off my soapbox. So, next thing next thing I was going to talk about. I have to shake my head at myself when the 2 people that stand out who do this, What I'm All Into, that subject, of course Heidi Cran, who kind of started it, and Theresa Vennett, they do such a good job. I always shake my head because I must live under a rock. I don't have every couple of weeks new things that I'm all into. So my what I'm all into would be like, I'm into stitching, I'm into knitting, dark chocolate. I'm really into dark chocolate. The next video would be, I'm really into stitching this week. Oh, you should see my knitting. I'm really into knitting. Oh, and have I mentioned dark chocolate? Dark chocolate, I could eat dark chocolate all day. Give it to me, and well, a little bit bitter, I don't go for that. But you know, the next week would be the same thing. So yeah, I think I just don't get out very much. But I love watching all the new stuff. And Heidi, I'm gonna get some of that mascara, because I'm always making a mess when I'm putting on my mascara. But anyways, I do have some things this week. So, this is all kind of centers around my husband, Instant Pot. And I'm sure with as big as this community is, there are some of you that have an Instant Pot out there. My husband is an Instant Pot fanatic. He does all the cooking. He loves it. We own 3 Instant Pots, 2 here in the apartment and a smaller one in the RV. I would not be surprised if there's another Instant Pot in our future. My husband says that he collects small kitchen appliances. Who am I to argue? I get the benefit of that too. So if you are an Instant Pot guru or an Instant Pot user, Instant Pot lover, whatever, you are probably aware of the Facebook community, Instant Pot Facebook community. It has 1.3, 1.4 million users. I mean, it's insane. The majority of the posts, not the majority, but there is a large amount of people that make yogurt. So my husband decided to give it a whirl. We have not been big yogurt eaters in the past. I have been on and off. He hasn't really. But for some reason, he decided to give it a try because Instant Pot, OMG, the best yogurt I've ever had. So simple. Fairlife milk, a gallon of it, a can of sweetened condensed milk, and a tablespoon or 2 of just plain yogurt. Stick it in the Instant Pot, press the yogurt button, let it sit for 11 or 12 hours. You have yogurt. It is so good. Not too tart, not too sweet. Mix in anything you want. We've been mixing in granola. I'm going to get some strawberries, and we're going to make some strawberry compote to put in it. He's going to make some strawberry compote. I'm not. I do a good job of eating. He does a good job of cooking. So that's pretty darn cool. The other thing that I'm all into, or I hope, really, really hope to be all into here in the not too distant future, is sourdough bread. Now, as I mentioned, I am gluten intolerant, so bread has been off the menu. Real bread has been off the menu for 5 years now. I do eat gluten-free bread, and you know, for the most part it's fine, but there is a difference. So my husband, in all the cooking reading that he does on the internet, came across some information about how people that have problems with gluten do not have the same kind of problems in Europe. That the flour, that the wheat that is produced there, I don't know whether it's how it's processed or because it's not GMO, they do not have the problems with gluten that you do here in the US. So we were talking about that, and he's been exploring that. He's applied for postings in several different places in Europe, and we'll see what happens with that. But in the process of kind of studying this, he started reading about sourdough bread. And number one, how healthy it is for you, but also because of, I believe it's because of the bacteria that's created from the process of creating the starter for sourdough, that kind of eats away at the gluten, so that people with gluten allergies can eat sourdough bread. So I'm going to be getting flour today, and we're going to start making the starter. We tried it with gluten-free flour, and it didn't seem to be doing anything, so we're going to go full bore and get real flour. And I don't have celiacs. I have an intolerance, so I don't have a huge issue with gluten. It's more of my breakouts are painful, but I can live with them if I'm willing to try to see if I can eat bread again. So anyways, we will keep you posted on our sourdough experiment. Can't wait. All right, so let's move on to what you really came here for. I have no cross-stitch finishes. All of the pieces that I'm working on are larger pieces, and finishes aren't aren't going to be something that I see for a while. I do have a knitting finish though, and that is what I'm wearing. It is the Flosstube Shawl by Laura Nelkin. So, I've mentioned this before, that I'm not an orange person. And as you can see, the orange falls right here at my face, basically. So, while I don't hate it, I don't know. I just don't know. I do love the shawl. It's a gorgeous knit. It's a fun knit. I love the beading on it. You can see that. I did do a bit of a modification. These Flosstube stitches down here in the pattern calls for using size 6 beads. Oh look, a cat hair, how unusual. The pattern calls for using size 6 beads. I used size 8 delicas, so they don't weigh as much as the size 6s. The pattern calls for doing these stitches without the beads, which is, it would look like these ones here, that right there, which is pretty. But since these, and the reason Laura made the pattern like that is because she felt it would be too much weight on the end. Using the size 8 beads, it's just perfect. It gives that additional color, and I love these beads. And so I wanted to use as much of them as possible. So I really like how this turned out. As you can see, let me show you the full shape of it, if I can on the video. So you can see it's quite long. It blocked out beautifully. I actually did a video of me blocking this that I need to get up. So if you're interested in that, look for that. Probably this weekend sometime I'll get it up. So yeah, I highly recommend it. It is not a hard knit at all. If you can knit and purl, because it's just a 1x1 rib. If you can do yarn overs, I would say go for it. This is a fingering weight yarn. Adding beads is always fun to a project. So get myself sort of sorted here. And so that's my only finish this week. Works in progress. All right, we'll start with my heart one, Gathering Hearts by the Trilogy. I was really thinking I would have had this done in a month, and I was hoping to, but and probably if I hadn't worked on anything else, it would have gotten done. But I really didn't push it because I need more of the Brother in Blue. There's a little rectangle that goes here in the Brother in Blue. The words, I'm looking for the pattern. Oh, it's over there. The words up here, Gathering Hearts, is in Brother in Blue, and then there's some Brother in Blue in the 1/1 in here. Since I ordered it a couple weeks ago from the Stitching Post, we've all heard that Brother in Blue is like out of stock everywhere. I haven't heard yet that it's in. So, you know, obviously I can't finish this until I get that thread. I'm doing what I can. I'm ready for this to be done, but, you know, I'm plugging away on it. So, there is that one. I took my History of Sheep and the sweater that I'm working on with me to Sarasota. I pretty much only knit when I was in Sarasota since I was in the yarn store so much. So I didn't get a whole lot of stitching done, but I did work on this a little bit. So I got I think the last time I only had these and part of the alphabet done. So I got the houses done. Well, the houses started. I think it had a tree up here, but I had to take that out because the count was off. So I started working on putting the little sheep across there. So still in love with this. Still not my primary thing to work on though. History of Sheep. Jardin privé, Jardin privé, Jardin privé. One of those. Take your pick. Not sure which one is right. The other one I'm working on is the Harbor Haven Stitch Along. Love, love, love. So I'm working on part 3 here. You can see my tidal river is starting to come down here. I have a little island over here. Right in here you can see the outline of a house. In here you can see the outline of a tree, the roots, and then the tree will go up here. So, still totally in love. Part 4 will come out March 10th. I'll just have to see. I'm not rushing. It gets done when it gets done. And this will all get done because I absolutely love it. The other, well, this is kind of still a whip before I get to the monster that I have to discuss. So you remember me showing you this finished piece before and telling you that I lost the little angel button or whatever charm that goes in there. So while I was at a Good Yarn last week, I looked at their buttons to see if they might have anything that would work. And I found this little butterfly. So, let me see if I can do this. It's a little bit big for that space. It just barely fits. There's beads down there that it has to kind of rest on, and it's kind of resting on the outer circle here a bit. But I think I'm going to make it work and just go with it so that I can get this finished. I'm probably going to try and find a white or cream frame and frame it in that. So there is that. Now, the monster that I need to talk about, and some of you will have seen my post on, let's see, Stitch Mania and Friday Off the Grid, I think, are the two places that I posted about this. Yeah, it just makes me sick to my stomach. The Modern Folk Embroidery Mystery Stitch Along. So I'm stitching away happily. I got the first month done, and I'm stitching away happily on the border for the second month. And I don't know why all of a sudden it struck me, but all of a sudden it struck me that I have the fabric oriented wrong. The description says, and I don't remember the exact numbers, 352 height and 251 width. I am used to the dimensions being given in width by height. No excuse. It said very clearly height and width. But I'm used to, see, you know those things, dimensions being given width by height. So even though my eyes read height by width, my brain said width by height. So yeah, it is supposed to go like this, long ways on the fabric. So several different people suggested that I go ahead and restart, and I do love it. I adore this piece, and I think it will be stunning when it's done. There's so many people doing it on Instagram. If you follow the hashtag MFE Sal 2018, I think it has the numbers, you will see all the gorgeous, gorgeous works there. So I am going to do it. And several people suggested that I just start again up here in this corner and then slowly over time take this out so that by the time the pattern gets down there, it will be gone. So that's what I'm going to do. I have to get one of those seam rippers that has the little nubby thing on the end that you can kind of erase the fibers once you've ripped them. 40 count fabric, so it's going to be, I'm going to have to be very, very careful when I'm taking the stitches out. So wish me luck with that. One of the things I was thinking though, do you guys ever wake up in the middle of the night and start thinking about your knitting or stitching projects? I'm sure I'm not alone in this. So I woke up in the middle of the night and I'm pondering this and I'm thinking, you know something? This might be a good opportunity to redo the colors. So as much as I love the palette that I've chosen, there are some of them. There's in particular a pale gray. It's actually a model, a white and gray that, because the light's shining on it, it doesn't look too bad, but it does get a little bit lost on the gray fabric. So I may change that one out. And what I'm thinking, I had this idea that, this is a Four Seasons stitch along, a Four Seasons piece. So this is the winter, and then the spring starts here. And so this part is the spring, and then we'll have autumn, fall, and winter, and summer down below. So I was thinking that if I could find colors that, cat hair up my nose, sorry, that I could start with pale for winter, brighten them up for spring, intensify them for summer, and then deepen and richen them for fall, that might look really cool. So I've pulled out, so I'd keep the navy blue border. And I think I want to keep the white for now in the winter, and probably a little bit of the white in the spring, because we do have snow in spring. And then I'd keep the pale blue. And then, like, I have the green and the purple here. I think these would be more for spring, and the pale blue may or may not move into spring. I'm not sure. But I found some floss from a company named Color Compliments in British Columbia. I saved some pictures here, so I'm going to show you those. I was looking for really pale colors for winter. Just the barest hint of color. What I did is I went onto Pinterest and did searches on winter palettes, spring palettes, fall palettes, and summer palettes, and tried to find ones that would allow me that transition of colors through the seasons. So, and I wanted to start with, whatever I might change out for winter with really pale colors. So these are, an angle here that's not glary. There we go. So this is what I found. This is like a very pale blue and green, and this might end up being too much blue if I keep that other blue. This is a more of a purplish with some grays. This one would probably be into spring, but I love that, so I got it. And then this has some beiges and some pinks, some peaches. I don't know which of these I'm going to use. We'll see when I get them what I think. I am going to probably this weekend restart the border, get that seam ripper and start taking out the wrong part. So yeah, I'm over it. I'm over it. It's got to be done. I'm going to do this. I love it. So there we go. Alrighty, moving on to haul. Now I did do a video of me opening my package from XJU Designs from Hungary. So if you've seen this, a lot of this is going to be, well, pretty much all of this is going to be a repeat. But if not, then bear with me. Well, bear with me if you've seen it. I hope you enjoy it. If you haven't seen it, I'll move along. Okay, so my main intent when ordering from XJU Designs was to get, I mentioned I got this pattern in the last one, was to get the chalkboard fabric. And I had to order a special size, 24 by 24, because I am going to do it as one piece as shown here. So this is that fabric. Beautiful, subtle modeling. I am just so pleased. The edges are all serged. I can't say how pleased I am. This is 36 count chalkboard with all of my purchases from all of the fabrics from her. I just think this is scrumptious. It has a beautiful feel. Somebody mentioned that if it has the red line, it's the Zweigart linen. So there you go. Love this. This I will probably start, I don't know, I haven't started to pull together any of the fibers yet, but this I will probably start summerish, something like that. She sent me a little gift swatch of fabric. There it is. 38 count Zweigart Dalarna linen in oil green. Great springy, a little bit of an olive tint green, olive yellow. Don't know what I'll do with it, but it's a great little piece. This is all brick, light desert. Oh, shoot, I lost the tag. This is another gorgeous piece of fabric from XJU Designs. Again, 36 count Zweigart linen. This is the one that when I showed my spring jack pattern in the last video, I had kind of done one of these, oh, maybe that fabric will work. This is the fabric I was talking about. It may work for this. I am concerned that these pinks might get lost. This is more of a rusty bricky color than a pink, but I haven't gotten started to get the fabric or the fibers for this either. They're all Gen Arts sampler threads, so I'll get them and lay them on here and see what I think. I'm hoping it'll work, but who knows. So there is that gorgeous thing. The other thing I'm absolutely thrilled about, this is actually a pattern that I had saved in Ravelry. I had seen it on Etsy a while ago, and I'd favorited it. And since I was ordering these other things, I decided I had to order this too. So this is Midsummer Garden, done with her fabric and her fibers. So the fabric is Rocky Mountain. Again, I asked her for 36 count. Look at that. Is that gorgeous? And that's pretty true to color. Not quite as green. Just beautiful fabric. And then the floss, let me see if I can do this so you guys can see. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Isn't that beautiful? If I mentioned that it's beautiful, I think it's beautiful. Anyway, this will probably get started in the summer as well, because Midsummer Garden, right? So, there is that. The other thing I got, I didn't show these in my last video, so let me skip to these. Not really cross-stitch related, but in my stash opening video. These are also from a good yarn. I don't know what I'm going to do with these, but look at those buttons. They're shank buttons. Is that beautiful? And there's the other one. So, whether they're both hydrangeas, of course that one's a hydrangea. How gorgeous is that? These were not cheap. These were $7 a piece. They also had ones that had knitting motifs and sewing motifs, and I almost got some of those as well. Yeah, I flowers, beautiful. So those came home with me, along with the butterfly. The other thing that came home with me, don't you love it when you do that? I had promised my husband that I wasn't going to buy any more yarn. I actually promised myself, because I don't need, I counted so I could let you know, because that's what we do. I have 15 bins of yarn. Most of it is fingering weight. I also have, do you know the big plastic package things that you get your comforter sets in? I have a king size of that filled with, no, maybe it's queen. I'll give myself a break and say it's a queen size. Filled with all of my sweater quantities of yarn, and all of that yarn is designated for certain patterns. And I also have another bin in where that is of random yarn. So yeah, I have enough yarn. So I told him I wasn't going to get any yarn, and I didn't. I got the buttons. I got some pairs of Flexi Flips, and Flexi Flips are an alternative to double points if you haven't heard of them and would like to see them in action, for knitting, obviously, and would like to see them in action, I did do a video showing my first time using them and kind of how I felt about them. Have to use them some more yet to really figure out if I like them, and I haven't had a chance to do that. But the other thing I got at the store was a cross-stitch kit. She hadn't ever carried cross-stitch when I was there. She does now. She has a distributor for Sajou, and she had carried like the little embroidery threads. She'd carry some of the sewing kits, the scissors, but she had this. This is small tinctorial plants, so plants that you can dye with. I don't love it, but I had to have it because I love the fabric. It's a rather stiff linen, but the color, when I first showed it, pulled it up, that's a pretty accurate. It's a little bit pale. There, that's pretty good. It's a gorgeous color fabric. And then it has all of these Sajou threads and all kinds of pretty colors. Now this is actually a cotton. Ooh, there we go. This is actually a cotton thread. When I first saw it, I thought it looked a little shiny, that maybe it was silk, but it is, as you can see, 100% cotton. So again, I don't know when I'm going to start it. Maybe this summer. We shall see. All right, that is the cross-stitch stuff. So if you don't want to hang out for the knitting, I think that's about all we're going to do on cross-stitch, although I'm going to end the video with my sunset video as well as some photos of the yarn store, A Good Yarn in Sarasota. So if you want to stick around for that or jump ahead, go for it. Okay, knitting. As I said, my only finish was the shawl. My work's in progress. I'm actually going to show you the lace mashup. Still plugging away at that. Doesn't look a whole lot different, so I'm not going to show you that. The sweater, what I took with me to Sarasota was a sweater. And this is, again, Laura Nelkin's Las Cruces. This is called her Novus construction, and she has a lot of pieces. It's a very different way of putting together a sweater. There's basically no seaming. There is knitting up panels to put it together. So what you're looking at here, this is the right arm, this is the right back, this is the right front. Then I started my left arm and I'm working on the front and backs of that. So what happens is, imagine this being your neckline in here. This is where your neck goes, and the sweater draping on your back and draping down your front. So I will be doing a panel up here, knit back and forth like this to connect the right and the left side. I will be knitting a panel, again, imagine these collapse together, the front and the back together. So I will be knitting a panel that comes, instead of a side seam, it's a panel that comes up the side here and then continues up underneath the sleeve to connect the side and the sleeves. So you do all that on both sides. And then for this one, it's a cardigan. She has you pick up stitches along the neckline, along the front and along the neckline and down the other side, and knit a border to create the front. So moving along quite nicely on that. That is another drop stitch pattern, as you can see. I'm not going to pull it out because it's hard to see when it's all bunched up. So there is that. Now, the other things I'm working on that I've just started, there is a stitch along going on in a group called Lakshmi's Dreams. Lakshmi's Dreams, it's a yarn, an indie yarn dyer named Andrea. She is in Germany. She's somebody I got to know rather well through Laura Nelkin's Ravelry group, and she started dyeing yarn, and she teamed up with another dyer to create this shawl, or not another dyer, a pattern designer, to create this shawl called Sudden Bliss, and they're doing a knit along in their Ravelry group. So I have my little swatch here for that. This is Brioche and lace. I'm playing with colors, going along with not buying any more yarn. If I don't have something in my stash that I can use for this, then I'm not doing it. That's where I am. So I have the gray here is actually a ombre that will fade to a pale gray as I work down the shawl. These are two different little, there's like a gradient set. This is Jilly's Dreaming Colors Jilly lace. And this is Freya's alpaca lace. These are a bunch of mini skeins, so I was just playing with colors to see what I wanted to use. I do that. I think I have everything and I don't. So this is the Freya lace. You can see it fades to a nice pale gray there. So that will actually be, when I get to the end of the shawl, that will be the lace part here. And then these are the two colors I used for the swatch. I'm thinking what I'm going to use instead, because I don't like how different the variegated purple is going into the turquoise. So I think I'm actually going to use these two and stripe them going up the brioche so that they'll blend a little more. It's hard to tell. There are some turquoise bits in here. So we'll see. That's my plan for now. So that's that. The other brioche thing I started was, I'm teaching an advanced brioche class at the store here in Annapolis next Monday. So I started the little swatch for that. That is this. It's a scarf pattern and worsted weight, a basic, more like advanced brioche because it has the increases and decreases, called Advancing Lines. So that is what that will look like. And then the other thing that I am looking at starting, although I don't know when for sure when I will, is a pattern by a designer named Kieran Foley. He goes by Knit Lab on Ravelry. He does the most amazing work. And there was something else I was going to bring and I forgot it. So would you just wait here just 1 second? Okay, so this is a Kieran Foley pattern. This is called Chestnut Crescent. It is a mystery knit along he did on Ravelry a few years ago. It is Fair Isle and Tarja, and it is probably the funnest thing I have ever done. I can't even tell you how much I love this. This I think I should hang on the wall. It sits in a drawer. It needs to be hung out, I think. Isn't that just stunning? So Kieran Foley is known for Intarsia, Fair Isle, lots of colors, and I love pretty much all of his patterns. So this is his most recent. What is it? The Light of Spring. It is a lace weight. Let me see, where's the other? Let's see if we can get this. Okay. It's a lace weight as the background, and then you use fingering weight for all of the little circles. So it gives it this kind of pull in and out because of the change in the weights. It gives a little bit more texture and dimension to the little circles that are fingering weight. Again, Fair Isle in Tarja. And then he's also added beads randomly on here. It's me. I mean, really, what's not to love? So what I plan on using, I don't know when I'm starting this. This is going to be my base. This is Anzula's Meridian. It's a tencel, I have to remind myself. Tencel, alpaca, and nylon yarn. So kind of a bluish aqua, very lightweight lace. And then for the bubbles, the circles, leftovers galore, or if I don't have enough of those, mini skeins galore. Yeah. Is that a tub of goodness, or is that a tub of goodness? Oops. Cascading yarn. What's not to love? I used to belong to a club. There's a indie dyer in Pittsburgh named Space Cadet, and they have a mini skein club. I would get 10 mini skeins every other month. So I have quite a stack of mini skeins that I can use, and it's more than I need for those little, I think that's like 2 or 3 yards that you need for each of those little things. So I'm gonna have fun with that. Not sure when. I'm gonna have fun with that. All right, so I think that's all. With all my comings and goings, I haven't the faintest idea how long this video is, but it's probably long enough. Like I said, I'm going to close with some videos of, not videos, pictures of a good yarn. And then I'm also going to close with the sunset video. I had posted this on Instagram, so some of you may have seen this, the sunset video from Sarasota, because right now I think a lot of us could use a little peace in our lives. With that, have a great week. Like I said, I'll be posting the blocking video probably this weekend sometime, so look for that if you're interested. And I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.